George K. Baum and Company opened for business in 1928 as Baum-Bernheimer Company. Early success was fueled by the nation's infrastructure needs. Baum underwrote municipal bonds to build modern cities, universities, public schools, and hospitals. Then, in 1952, George's son, G. Kenneth Baum, assumed leadership of the investment bank his father had built.
When I think of Kenny Baum, I think I would use the word, he's an icon in the financial services industry. Think about this. Here's a man who graduated at the age of 23 with a degree in history from a fine liberal arts college, Carleton College. Basically, on the day of graduation, he came to work here because his father had had a stroke and needed help to run the business. Well, basically, Kenny ran the business at age 23.
Fortunately, Ken Baum knew the firm's staff and the mechanics of their operation. A quick study and natural leader, he soon learned the finer points of investment banking and municipal bonds.
My dad came to George K. Baum and Company June of 1952, days after graduating from college, because my grandfather was ill. And he came to the company when there were only 17 people here, and he didn't know much about what that meant or where he was going to go, but he did it, and I think that took a lot of courage.
In the early 1960s, Ken Baum saw a new opportunity and began underwriting corporate securities. One of the firm's first public offerings was for a growing private company called H&R Block.
Well, the most important thing that Kenny has done, as far as I'm concerned, has been his relationship with the company, taking us public, serving on its board for, well, we went public in 1962, and I think he went off the board maybe a couple of years ago, so he's been on the board for 40 years or so.
George K. Baum continued to grow as Ken expanded services and added offices. By 1994, Ken was ready to pass the torch to his son, Jonathan.
He's a great analyst. He really sees strategy well, and then he combines that with honest communication and hard work. It's really been a wonderful recipe.
Ken Baum is a devoted family man who invests time and treasure in their hometown's quality of life, in higher education, childhood learning, the arts, land conservancy, and social services. Known for his sharp intellect, Ken's counsel benefits nonprofit businesses.
To get someone to commit some company money to support an art museum, it's about calling on them personally, talking to them personally, persuading them of the value of the Nelson to the environment in which that corporation works. That's, say, Kansas City. So it is not easy. It is one by one. The other thing, working with Kenny, I mean, the audio guides was I think a great piece of work. We were able to send people all over the world, thanks to Kenny, to research all the best practices throughout the world. The best practices in terms of approach of visitors, script, delivery, mixing in different voices, music, equipment, hardware. That's why our project, our audio guides are really great quality.
Family has always been Ken Baum's #1 priority. The interests they share are widely varied and often involve the great outdoors, from hiking to riding horses and bicycles, in the mountains, Martha's Vineyard, or on his Johnson County farm.
Kenny believes that preserving green space, preserving unique natural areas is a very important thing to do. He believed that many, many years ago. He really pioneered the use of conservation easements in Johnson County when he placed a really substantial conservation easement of several hundred acres over his very unique property. His use of a conservation easement preserves all of that in perpetuity. He's also made substantial land donations to Johnson County Park and Recreation District that will allow for the construction of trails along the Blue River and along the Camp Branch Creek on his property. But it's not just his property. I mean, his interest has gone to preserving green space in unique areas in the state of Kansas. For instance, the Tallgrass Prairie, the state of Kansas. His work through the Nature Conservancy has been very important.
Ken, His wife, Ann, and their entire family are making long-term investments in Kansas City through the George K. Baum Family Foundation.
If you look over his resume from, the Chamber of Commerce to the Civic Council, he's in particular championed UMKC and appreciating the important role that higher education plays in the quality of life. He's been very involved in various Jewish philanthropies. And so I think the spectrum of what he cares about is wide and varied. But I think as of late, he and his family have really focused on early childhood education. And I think it goes back to that astute investment banker knowing that if we can make a good investment in the early years, think of the dividends it can pay as our young people grow up to be productive adults.
Kenny Baum enjoys extraordinary success in business because he understands numbers as well as how people interact to make things happen. He is naturally enthusiastic and effective, but doesn't care one whit about getting credit.
Kenny Baum is an outstanding choice for the Hall of Fame because he epitomizes everything that JA stands for. He's an entrepreneur. He believes in learning on the job. He's proved it. He believes that anybody can do anything they set out to do. And he starts with an idea and then gets out of the way and lets people move on with it and build on it.
Tonight, we salute Junior Achievement's 2010 Business Hall of Fame laureate, G. Kenneth Baum.